Hey guys! So a lot of you have been asking me what type of music I listen to whenever I make these videos or just draw and create art in general. So this is the video that everybody has been requesting lately on what my favorite music is. Generally, it's going to be the top 5 all-time favorite albums, and this was really hard for me to choose. I spent days on this list and going through songs and why I like them, and it felt like an essay and a homework project, but one that you really like, which is really rare and cool at the same time. And I might say like and dude and oh my gosh, I might even cuss sometimes in this video because we'll just see what happens. I get really passionate and into music. So let's begin by album number 1, which has to be Frank Ocean's Channel Orange. Like, I could listen to this album in the car and recite the lyrics, and it's weird. It's a deep album that you wouldn't really guess that someone would know the lyrics to because every song has, oh my gosh, and you can't listen to it on shuffle. Listen to it from start to end because it is like a piece of work, like a really intricate art piece, because there are clips in the album that are songs, a mixture of background noise that may be like 30 seconds and even under a minute around length of time, but just playing it, listening to it from start to end, it's so like rich and good. And my top favorite songs on this album have to be Bad Religion, because it just feels like you're in a car, in like a taxi cab, or just somewhere where you could be with a random person or just yourself, like preaching all your worries and troubles in your life. And another one has to be Forrest Gump. This song feels like you're going through like a scrapbook or running through your whole life's memories. These are just my opinions on the songs, and oh, they're so good. And of course, Thinking About You is probably one of the most popular songs on the album, and it is really good. It's not one of my top favorites, but it's still like really good because it's like you remember a loved one, like someone you really truly love and cared about in your life. But it's like the good moments and the sad moments at the same time that you remember. And this album is really good. The next album is a recent discovery. I'm surprised it goes on this list, but the songs on all of it are, I'm going to say good a lot. They're all really good. But it is the Black Keys, and it's the album called Brothers. Listening to this album, it's really hard to pick just one favorite song because all of them, they have so many different tones but similarities, and it's like, the best way I could describe this album, it feels like you're in a Quentin Tarantino movie. Howlin' For You is good. Too Afraid to Love You is so good. It's haunting. It's like you're walking through a haunted mansion. Telling all of your feelings for someone that you really care about them, love them, and that you were hiding for a long time, but you like finally have the courage to go through the scary moment of walking through a haunted house and telling all of your insecurities and love for this person. That's how that song Howling For You feels like to me. Just listen to the song, oh my gosh. And Next Girl is a really good song on the album too, because it brings hope on not just a guy's perspective, but I also could look at it from a girl's perspective, because it brings hope to any future or your next relationship, knowing that you're gonna find that other person in your life, because we've all faced bad relationships with people. Now the next album is something that I would never have thought in a million years that I would like and be into, but it is from the band Mumford Sons, and they are kind of folk-y, I would say, but there's album Babel, the deluxe version. Oh my goodness, this album just entirely feels like I'm running through a forest on like a horse, or just like a majestic horse through a forest in some sort of movie that's kind of like Lord of the Rings, but more reality. I can't explain it, but this whole album just gives you a boost of energy that comes from nowhere, but at the same time, it's very energetic and goes from low to like very positive, upbeat, and has some really sad songs in it and really meaningful ones. My all-time favorite one is Broken Crown. That song is so deep, haunting, and just like, it's so good. And I Will Wait For You is a good song. It like relates to a lot of love people may have experienced in their lives. Just, I would never have thought I would like an album like this, but I don't know, it's hard to explain. Whenever it's like 4 a.m. and I hit that wall where I don't think I could do anything anymore, and I play this song, it just takes you off to a journey in another adventure and gives you energy. It makes you think. It's really, really good. Okay, the next album, it feels like I've been with it for a very, very long time because I started listening to this artist when I first started making YouTube videos, which is Kid Cudi. You guys probably know I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan, and his album, which is the most recent one, is Man on the Moon 2, The Legend of Mr. Ranger. It's a very long title, but Mr. Ranger is one of my absolute favorite songs on the album. It's actually really hard to pick one. But this album is so deep and dark, and I'm one of those weird people who get inspiration and motivation to out of nowhere to make artwork from really depressing things that either may happen to me in my life, sadly, or just listening to music that's very poetic and dark and deep, which is a lot of Kid Cudi's songs. There's a very few ones that are really happy and upbeat, but he feels like a musical artist who could create his own genre because it's a mix of like R&B, rap, a little bit of pop when he collabs with people like Dia Frampton. But his song Trapped in My Mind, oh my gosh, this has led me to so many video ideas, and I wish if there wasn't for copyright infringement on YouTube, I would so do every single Kid Cudi song into a art music video. And his song Mr. Ranger, I have literally sat in my room and drawn out a whole entire sketchbook filled of storyboards directly related to this song, because this song feels like when you're a child and you have your first hero or person that you look up to, and then you find out like different things about them. It's just such a good song, and all of his songs on this album are really good. A lot of Kid Cudi stuff in general, pretty good if you're into R&B, hip hop, and rap, but I can't like really put him in those categories because his stuff is so like, you really see poetry in it. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And my all-time favorite album, I could not make this video if I did not include this band, which is the Beatles. Of course, I have the original, the Beatles White Album. I don't know who drew on that. I was really upset. It's kind of dirty and it's falling apart. But of course, ever since I was like a little child in elementary school, I would steal this album from my parents. They both had a copy. I think we had 3 or 4 copies in the house when I was a child. And it says that the smell of this album brings me back to my childhood because I would like steal their record player, take it into my room, align all of my stuffed animals, and play my all-time favorite song on this album. You should get this album just for this song, and it's really deep and dark. As a child, I used to sing to it, but it's Rocky Raccoon. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And the artwork of them in this album is my all-time favorite one. If you've seen my videos on this channel, I actually made a zombified version of the artwork from this album because I love it so much, and my viewers and fans of you guys know how much I love the Beatles, and you guys have great taste in music too, and you suggested it. I'll put a link to that video below because it was one of my all-time favorite art pieces. I wish I could have kept it for myself, but I sent it to the person who requested it. And just like, even this is so memorable, the little apple, and it's like a whole apple on the outside, sliced on the inside. Everything about this is really amazing. And Blackbird is a good song. It takes me to a peaceful place of like starting over on a brand new day. It makes me feel like I'm on vacation and I have no worries or stress in the world. And of course, Rocky Raccoon, like I said, favorite song in this whole entire album. I like that song because it's really dark and deep and a little bit religious, and I'm not like a super duper religious person, but the song reminds me of if you're reading an old childhood story that was like your favorite story of all time, and then you go back to it when you're older and you realize like all of the deep dark meanings, and maybe it's a little bit dirty, like, and you never realized when you're a kid, but now that you're older, that's what the song makes me realize. I don't know. The only thing that would make this album even better if it had Maxwell's Silver Hammer. I remember there was an animation online of that song, and I used to love it too, and it's a really deep, dark, scary song as well. But, as you can tell, I like deep, dark, intricate things, and that inspired me to make artwork, so this album is a good one. And when I mentioned that I was making this video on Instagram, a lot of you guys said that I should have an alternative list that didn't make the top 5 because it was super duper duper hard to pick just the top 5. So some honorable mentions that didn't make the top 5 that are really, really good and that you should check out is Muse, the band. All their songs are good. I couldn't pick just one album. I picked 2 albums from them, which is Absolution, because I love the artwork on it, and the artwork like drawed me towards it when I was in high school. And I can remember being super depressed in the back of my mom's car on my way to and from class and just like blasting Absolution, the whole entire album, over and over again. And just, you don't really sing to it as much. I don't, but it just like brings out all the anger in you, and it helped me get over my frustrations of all the bullies I was facing in high school. And it's such like, it's one of my favorites, and it brings back so many memories. And of course also the album by Muse is really good, is Black Holes and Revelations. Oh, so good. I will never forget playing songs from this on Guitar Hero with my brother late at night till like 4 in the morning on summers. So good. And another album that did not make the top 5 list but is really good is the Flaming Lips band. And they have the album Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. Now I've flipped through the Flaming Lips other albums, but this one, it's like a whole different like story. It's like that book that's on the side that's different from all their other albums in my opinion. The album title came from like 2 songs, there's a part 1 and part 2 in it, that are so good. I get so hyped when I hear this album in my car. It's so amazing. And remember Smallville on TV? There was this TV show about Superman called Smallville, and they had a whole bunch of Flaming Lips albums. I did not like that show that much. My best friend back in the day used to make me watch it, and that's where I learned about the Flaming Lips, so I'm thankful for that show a little bit. And I can't make a video about music without talking about the Strokes, because I made entire videos about the Strokes and Julian Casablancas back in the day, if you guys have been watching sketch vlogs for a long time. So I couldn't pick just one album, so I really loved Room on Fire, and of course some First Impressions of Earth. But the only reason why they didn't go into my top 5 albums is because they are really, really good albums, but all the songs, have you ever had an album that is not ruined, but it just brings back really horrible memories? Like when I first discovered, not first discovered, but really got into the Strokes, I was super duper depressed at that point in my life. So whenever I play the song, sometimes it brings me back to that moment in my life, and it's really sad and depressing. And like I said, I get energy from really depressing things. Energy meaning artwork inspiration, but sometimes you don't really want to go there, so that's why I didn't include the Strokes. But so the Strokes, Julian Casablancas is one of my all-time favorite musical artists. It's so good. So yeah. So I hope you guys liked hearing about my top 5 all-time favorite musical albums, and about the artists and the songs and some of the extra ones on the side. And what I would like to know in today's sketch vlog is what is your top 5 all-time favorite albums? You can only choose 5. Leave it down in a comment below, or you can make a sketch vlog just like I did and put it as a video response. If you're lucky enough, I'll choose you to be in the next sketch vlogs video, because last time on sketch vlogs we talked about what is one thing you like or dislike about Facebook. And I love this comment about, we always face these girls who say they post pictures on how they don't like themselves or how they don't like their hair, yet their hair is perfect. I think we all face that. I love that comment. And another comment, well, a lot of comments were about people's relationships. A lot of us don't seem to like people when they flaunt our relationships in front of each other, and I could understand that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to hear your top 5 all-time favorite albums. Like, this is legit probably one of my favorite topics, because everyone, I think, in the world likes music. Unless you're maybe not human and don't have a soul. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe there is someone who doesn't like music. So again, leave me a comment or a video response, and I will see you guys on Monday. Talk to you then. Bye.